And welcome to Thursday's edition of JRPG Mechanics, and we are going really well. We're definitely on target for getting to where I wanted to get to by the end of this fortnight, where you can go into a battle, attack, and then defeat the enemy and leave, and that's going to be amazing. We're probably going to have another phase where the enemy dies, another phase where we move back, so there might be some phases that are not in the loop, which will be good. And so let's just get started. So the position we're in at the moment is we attack 10, 10 gets knocked off, enemy attacks us, 10 gets knocked off. Not very interesting, right? So we want there to be an element of randomness. We also want the enemy not to hurt us as much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, where are we? Enemy loses health. So set health, set this bit here, health to remove. We're going to have like an element of randomness, and we're going to have perhaps we're going to have, I don't know, a 20 plus 10 health to remove. So we're either going to do 20, 21, 22 all the way to 29 damage, which would be quite good, but we don't want the enemy to hurt us as badly. So for the enemy, I think it will be kind of a 2 plus, I don't know, 5. So they can hurt us, but not that much. Okay, let's run the frame. And so we should have mega attack, boosh, all the way down. And that's way too slow. That's really boring to watch. So we need to sort of sort that out. I think at the moment it's 10. Yeah, it's 10. And so we kind of could do 1 for that. Every 100th of a second, remove 1. So it looks like it's animating, but it's not really boring to watch, right? So douche. There we are. Douche. 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 There, that feels good. Now, the enemy shouldn't have been able to attack there. We need like another phase here, right? And this phase is going to be enemy dies, right? So 6 enemy dies. Oh, poor enemy, right? So this is going to be our 6th battle phase. And we might actually, I'll tell you what would be clever, is if we made this battle phase 100. You might think, well, why would you make it battle phase 100? That's really odd. Well, the reason being is that if we want to add more phases to the battle, say if there's the player or the enemy gets an extra go to regain health or something, or whatever it is, or as I said, there's more than one player character or more than one enemy, then you need the option of adding more phases here, because it could be enemy 1 phase, enemy 2 phase, enemy 3 phase. And what you'd have is all 3, and then the first bit of the phase might be, is enemy alive, and stuff like that. So we want to expand this. So I don't think it will be more than 100 phases. So what I'm going to do is just set that to 100. If I thought it would be more than 100 phases we would need down the line for this, I'd set this to 1,000. Okay, it's just future-proof. So we're not spending ages coding differently because of something that might happen, but we're doing simple decisions now to make this expandable later. Right. So this is just stuff copied, so we can get rid of all this. And so the enemy's dead. So what do we need to do? Well, we could have like a enemy dies phase, right? So I don't know where to store this. Enemy stats or enemy animation. Actually, enemy animations. So we could have visibility. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set visibility to 1. And this is something I don't think we've covered before, so this will be quite cool. So every, and we'll have it jaggy at first. Every 10th of a second, we're going to this is actually, I might set it at 100. I think that's going to be easier to show. So the visibility is between 0 and 1, but I'm going to set it as 100. And every 10th of a second, actually let's do it every second. If I'm going to set it at 100. Every 10th of a second, sorry. And some of you watching this going, I don't really know what you're doing. You'll see in a second. So we're going to subtract 1 from the visibility. And what we're going to say is we're always setting, and this is the clever bit here, the visibility. Oh gosh, is it the? I can never remember which it is. I think it's one of the effects. Is it the transparency? Nope. There's one of these that's the alpha. There we are. Which I don't know whether this is, but it's a number between 0 and 255. So this is when I start to get worried that I'm going along the wrong lines here. But let's pretend that this is the right one. And I try and do most of these things live. And so it should start off with 255, shouldn't it? If it's out of 255. But I think I might have the wrong one. But anyway, let's pretend I don't. And so let's just see. So we need to say if the players... Okay, so insert here. If the player's health... sorry, the enemy's health, which is this one. If it's greater than 0. And then we need to say at any time if the health is lower than 0 or lower or equal to 0, then you're instantly setting battle phase to 100. Okay, let's run it. Battle, 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 battle. Right, there we are. Okay, so 0. Interesting. So it goes the other way. So we're going to add 1 to visibility. Interesting. Add 1 to visibility. And always, yeah. And we need to start the visibility at 0. And we probably should do that right at the top. I think, well, we'll worry about that later because I don't think we're gonna. I think that's gonna reset every battle we do. Actually, let's just. Where are we? F7. There we go. Oh no, it's dead. That's really slow. So we probably want to. What do we think? 3 or 5? Let's try 3 at the start. There does seem to be. Oh, because I've done it here. Hang on. That makes no sense. I don't think I've changed this. It's the enemy stats data. It should be player stats data, shouldn't it? I've put this in the wrong place. So this should all be here. Clearly just not been paying attention. So this should work out whether the player is done. Yeah, this makes more sense. It's the problem with having almost identical groups you put in the wrong place. I'm sure some of you are shouting at the video there. No, you put it in the wrong place. There we are. Perfect. So something I didn't really describe because I was kind of like trying to remember how to do it. The alpha blending coefficient is just a fancy way of saying how visible are they. When you have the alpha blending coefficient of 0, it means there is no alpha. Alpha basically is see-through pixels. So how many see-through pixels are you going to have? Now, it's a number between 0 and 255. Why 255? It's because those are the numbers that we use for RGB, right? So R, red, G, green, B, blue, right? They're all, you can describe pretty much, you can describe a lot of colors in the proportions of those three colours in a scale of 0 to 255 for each colour. Alpha follows the same thing. Alpha is normally the RGB A being alpha, and that shows how invisible is it, right? It starts at 0, so everything that's opaque, everything you can see is 0, and the more you add to it, the less you can see of it. Okay, I completely forgot that, but that actually makes sense, because the higher the alpha value, the less you'll be able to see of it. Cool. So when we run the frame, at the moment their alpha coefficient 0, which is why we can see that completely them and nothing behind them. But then when we attack them and destroy them, the alpha increases. And then we need the last phase, which I might put at 300 or 500 or 1000. Why not 1000? So back to map, right? And we want to say that when the counter for the player, oh, it's the animation, isn't it? It's the animation. So when we have reached that 255, and we'll say 255 or greater, then we want to move to battle phase 100 or 1000, sorry. And in battle phase 1000, there's only one thing. It's just jump to frame. Perfect. So we hopefully have a nice loop. Now, the problem is when you do the frame editor, when it jumps to frame, I can just show you this. So we're going to attack him, blah, blah, blah. There we go. And it just closed it down because the frame's done. I'm really not sure why that happened straight away, though. Visibility of enemy animations. Perhaps I should set that to, I don't know, 1000. Have a little bit of time afterwards. I don't know why it closed straight away. Oh, that's silly. Should be 1000 there. There we go. Forgot to update that. Okay. The problem with this is that when you jump frame, it doesn't actually jump frame. It just closes the window, which is kind of good and kind of annoying at the same time. So by setting this, this is actually creating a little timer so that you can react to the fact that the enemies died. And so let's run the application so we can see how this actually rolls. So we're still in our free walking, which is good. And now, oh, battle, right, let's attack. Let's attack, get that slim slime. Got him. Cool. And then we're back here. Wow, you can see a bit of a problem. So we've explored all the way down to the bottom here. In fact, we've gone all the way almost to the bottom right, and then we've attacked. Oh, hang on, we've got our health back as well. This is like Groundhog Day, the game. So this is not ideal. Okay, and actually the solutions are incredibly simple, but unfortunately that is all we have time for on this episode. So you're gonna have to wait for tomorrow to figure out how we cope with the fact that when you move frame you lose all your data. Well, you don't lose all your data, and worry not, there is data in Clickteam, which some of you, in fact probably most of you, know already, that is across all the frames, which is amazing. But we're going to stop right there for today. If you like this video, click like. If you want to see more from us, click subscribe. Otherwise, thank you very much, and keep your comments coming in. And I'll see you tomorrow for our last episode for now on JRPG mechanics. Thank you very much.